To Miss Rachel Maddow. Maddow, actually, sorry. We were John C., Rosebud, California. It is 6:26 p.m. West Coast time, May 6, 2024. You are currently, as of this recording, talking about it's not coming, it's here on Msnbc. Here are my thoughts about it. We already are in a civil war. We are currently in a civil war without the guns just yet, but we are going to get the guns one way or another. We got people trying to arm teachers. They're trying to arm electoral counters or poll watchers. You talk about the voter intimidation. Well, when I hear talk about that one, I hear some of the independents out there talking about it. I'm coming across stuff like that throughout the years, and it's not cool. It's not cool at all. You worried about democracy being challenged? Well, yeah, it is directly challenged, but none of you guys in the media, doesn't matter which company, has used the M word, mobster. Let me say that word again. Mobster. M is in Mary. O, B is in boy. S is in Sam. T is in Thomas. E is in Edward. R is in Robert. You're not getting it, are you? You've been doing all these history podcasts left and right, but you hadn't quite got what the mobster was. A thug. Wanted power, prestige, money, ego. What do we got in our current 45th president gas bag? An orange gas bag, for that matter. I used the name Trump. It'll be shuddering. Very shuddering. My nerves will be going on collapse at this point. But he reminds me of the Chicago mobs of the 1920s and 30s. He reminds me so much of those lunatics out there. I'm surprised not one of you guys ever picked up on it. Not that you guys are good on history. You're not doing enough on that one. You're saying all the things a mobster would do. But you're not comparing these guys to the old mobsters. I wish to God my brother was still alive. If you noticed what I shifted around, you provide a picture. My family, God rest her soul. Ma, 2013. Big brother David, 2018. He would have been able to tell you about the mobsters. He did a study about them. He was fascinated with them. And he would have compared Trump to a mobster if he was still alive. Tommy guns, they were more open and blatant than mobsters were, and controlling their territories and tearing apart things left and right, and killing people left and right. We've got the lieutenants, as in the Trump army out there, the Trumplicants, willing to do that. They want guns everywhere. We're getting into the mobster shooting up bang bang era. If we hadn't had that already over the past, 30, 40 years already? Or more? I'm 58 years old. Why the hell am I seeing and experiencing all this stuff? I'm seeing what's happening in our country. I'm seeing what's happening with the Republican Party, what used to be a conservative party you can actually have debates with and be civil about it. Not these days. Oh, no, 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 no. The old guard's gone, ran out, died out, retired, and now the young punks want it all. Out of fear and intimidation. Out of every thing that they say out there, I keep hearing is, we keep calling it lies and misinformation at this point over here. The independents out there will be tearing apart everybody, including these guys. But every time you guys keep trying to support or defend one portion of a belief. They're being torn apart left and right. Speaking of rights on this one, shall we maneuver into the First Amendment? Shall we maneuver into protesting? People think that the police and local constabulatories are being used as a brittle arm, thug-like attitude of colleges. Now, for me understanding this, I tried to go to college a long time ago. Got out of high school, screwed up 2 years, and then Mom gave me two choices. Work full-time or get out into the streets and live there. I worked full-time. Over 30 plus years until I damn near got killed in a job. Long story, too many videos about that one. Yeah. I have my own YouTube channel, The Diary of a Griever Named John Weaver. And believe me, there's a reason for that title. A lot of videos describing about the channel and me. But I also talk politics as well. I talk mortality, emotions, dealing with them on my own end, my own observations about what's happening these days. Some of the stuff is just too radioactive. I don't touch it just yet, but maybe I should. I've been known to burn and nuke bridges of relationships. Friends, family. No way to decontaminate them either. When you get opinions and you see what's happening these days. Oh, yeah, it's like seeing a B-52 doing a dance on a target. Yeah, I'll get point blank. Now, sometimes I'm a little subtle about that one there too. When it comes down to the Constitution and the First Amendment, let's do a Dr. Strangelove on this one, shall we? In this situation, I'm hearing people talking about the First Amendment, how it matters to them, and yet they would condemn others who are practicing the amendments like crazy, that the rights were given in blood, in sweat and tears, and in lives. But we got people denying that one, don't we? The protesters do have a point. And I didn't say which particular side either. Are we or are we not, according to your understanding of the First Amendment rights, Ms. Maddow? Are we not guaranteed the right of free speech? Now, according to SCOTUS, throughout many court rulings in the past, how many decades, have told us we have a right, but it's limited. I brought up one particular point a few times. People don't like it. I bring up one particular case. They don't like it. But it's necessary. Because I'm trying to demonstrate in one particular form and fashion how much First Amendment is used, sometimes as an excuse and sometimes as a battering ram. But then again, sometimes we have to be brutally honest about things that we don't like other people to hear about, and allowing them to talk about it, because this is part of America. This was part of what was drilled into us concerning about democracy. People don't want to hear the ugliness. Well, they're going to be hearing the ugliness because they got to be hearing both sides. Wasn't Aristotle worried about democracy being the weakest link of a government system because everybody's got a opinion about it? However, they can also influence. We can have theoretical freedom at this point over here. We have rules and regulations. We have laws and ordinances to guide us or to bar us, to thrust us in a different direction because of our legislators maneuvering us one way or another. And in a democracy, we surrender our power to those we believe that are going to be governing wisely. I mean, it's covered in the Federalist Papers in number 10, if I'm not mistaken. Just not quite sure which particular section of it, though. But I've come across it. 2 years, long time ago. Yeah, but wait until this 58-year-old gets back into college. It's been in there for almost 10 years, almost. Give or take a year or two. And in that time, I had taken a few courses on political science, a ton of classes concerning about history, Western civilization, world history at this point, U.S. history, California history. Yeah, I'm not history buff. I like English. But I figured that English and political science and history all are intertwined. This is what happens when you are a liberal, woke person who's libturd/libtard, who believes in freedom, who has woken up regarding the political situation happening right now, and has an inability trying to describe to everybody else on a channel what the hell is happening to us. I live in a town that is, well, actually it was, Kevin McCarthy's romp. Since he's out of office, thank God, he's got a replacement going to be put back into the fold. So we still got our Kevin McCarthy puppet in there somewhere, a clone of him. He wasn't exactly helping my area out here either. I mean, I live in Kern County, California. We're right next to LA County, sandwiched between LA County and San Bernardino County. I live in a town that's on the outskirts of Los Angeles County and Kern. We are on the border. And they are Trumplicants out here. Many of them are vocal regarding it, but they don't say Trump is great, Trump, Trump, Trump all the time. No, you go into social media and that's sometimes you even have a problem with it supporting Trump because you usually get trounced by everybody else. But it's still the feeling out here of Republican, conservative. They want things maintained in the steady course, the status quo. I have a problem with that. Sometimes I'm getting older. I think about the status quo and what was so good about it anyway. It was from someone else's point of view, from a different time period, from a different perspective. We're getting older and ancient, and we're getting a different perspective. We want things back the way they were. Unfortunately, we cannot get that because it will not happen in our lifetime. Not in yours and not in mine. So how is this going to happen? I don't know. How am I going to start supporting the First Amendment out here if people don't even believe in the First Amendment? They believe in the Second Amendment. Oh, they believe in guns like crazy. They love their guns. Guns, 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 guns. God forbid you take your guns away. What the hell do you think you are? A communist? No. But I do live right next to a raceway that goes from here to Edwards Air Force Base and right into our town. I do this to a lot of people on my channel. Miss Maddow, if you have, or if one of your interns are watching this and trying not to go insane, more power to them. I will indulge upon their patience further. If you are either on a laptop or a desktop or even on one of these newfangled contraptions, I think they called them smartphones a decade or two ago, go to your browser and type out maps.google.com. I want to show you something. My system's already got the bookmarks in here anyway for it, so all I gotta do is just type the thing out. And it'll pull. Oh, you're gonna be that way about it. Pain in the butt. Sorry, this thing's getting older and older. More cantankerous than I am. Okay, so when I type out googlemaps.com, it'll pick up in an area that you've already been using so far, or your own local neighborhood. So I would kindly appreciate if you would type out Rosamond, California. There is a method to my insanity here. I want to show you home. I've already got it here. I've already got it on layers right now regarding just terrain. Actually, let me see if I can get this fixed right here. A default, actually, which will give me street names and everything else. But I'm going to switch mine over to detail. I'm going to the satellite. I want to show you something. And with your mouse, use your scroll button to widen the shot. This is home for right now. I've been out here for 20 years. I'm a native to the San Fernando Valley for about 38 years, so just about anyway. My family moved out here in 2005 into this armpit of Southern California because we couldn't find a place cheap enough and available enough to live in. From a Democratic area into Republican territory. This doesn't show you the geopolitical. It just shows you what the area I live in, a geologic situation ready to rock and roll with earthquakes and stuff. You see the fault lines? The angular? You want to talk about a reality check? That's a reality check. But I want to scroll this further where it says Rosamond. You'll see a Edwards Air Force Base to the right of it. You'll see a freeway going in the middle of it, and then most of the town is just spread out to the west. Welcome to where I live. East side of town along a main highway, which is still used as the Indianapolis 500, or at least a drag strip anyway. When they come in and out of Edwards, they're racing as if there's no tomorrow. A little place on the border of town, next to Edwards, on a street called United. Tropical City, but there are a few Democrats in this area anyway. But this has been home for almost 10 years. Transplant to this place has been losing businesses left and right. We've got shops been out here for a lot longer than I remember. Place is somewhat dying, and yet you think it's expanding. I'm losing the heart and soul of this place. I live on United and Rosamond, not in a trailer homes, but an apartment complex. That's home. My brother died several years ago. Sitting in this chair, he was suffering through respiratory illnesses, and I had to call 911 on him. When I went into the emergency room after they had him, when I thought they had him settled, he was already pronounced. Changes a person's life a great deal. A lot of videos talk about my pain and my grieving concerning about the situation. But you're questioning yourself, what does this have to deal with First Amendment rights and Donald Trump and everything else? I'm looking at a town that will be affected by Donald Trump because when we had the orange gas bag, we didn't have everything else done in this place. No streets paved. We had potholes all over the damn place. We had accidents and shootings. Well, we get an occasional from time to time. We didn't have the expansion as we have right now. The homes have been out there for a lot longer than I've been in this town, slowly expanding the operations. We've also got a solar plant coming up in the northern end of town, right along the 14 corridor, close between us and Mojave. Somewhere out there, we got traffic jammed up like crazy. Traffic's getting redirected and construction's happening out there. This is due to because we have expansion of things happening. The economy. They're also trying to get a high speed going from Sacramento all the way down to Union Station in Los Angeles. But they also want to get a high speed going through Vegas, through Rancho Cucamonga. I hadn't seen how dense the solar farms have been, but looking at it, it's getting very expensive out there. But this is home. When the gas bag was in office, we were losing jobs, I think. COVID kicked in, and we were losing jobs. And we had people slowly but surely trying to get stabbed. I was one of them. We needed to get the inoculations going. I got health concerns left and right. I need the damn shots. I hate the medical establishment. Long term, a lot of videos on this one. But it's necessary. I look at this place as a convoluted, complex organism that sometimes has issues with itself. And I'm not quite sure if we've got ourselves together or not. I'm worried that if we have the gas bag in, or if the Republicans or Trumplicans actually start denying people to have the right to protest for anything, how enclosed we are going to be. I watched the news concerning about UCLA and about USC. I'm a native out here. Born in Downey, lived in Huntington Park for the first couple of years. Then family moved. My mother and brother and I moved out to San Fernando Valley. Lived out there for 38 years. I became a Valley resident. Wasn't a native, but I became a Valley resident, very much connected to the place. It was home. But even then, they still allowed some protesting happening, even on street corners, if need be. What the hell happened over at USC and UCLA? You think the Trumplicans would allow that thing to happen? How people could express themselves? Yeah, it was crazy, and it was saying what was going on during that time. For the past couple of weeks, I've been wondering whether or not the college that has been in my hometown of Los Angeles was going to be ruined beyond all recognition. I mean, it's bad enough when they actually had rivalry games going on between USC and UCLA, but not what the protesters did. But the thing is, I wasn't protesting. I wasn't against the people saying what they were saying. They have the right to do that. These are public institutions. But privately controlled, there are rules and regulations and ordinances that colleges put up that you can and can't do, even if they are public. In a public setting, you are supposed to be allowed to protest if you want to, as long as it's peaceful. At camping, I'm not quite sure if that was peaceful or not. If they had daily protests and just sitting around, okay, fine. But they camped. And they had the agitators coming in there. Then you had agitators coming in, trying to disguise themselves as Israeli. Or maybe they were. I don't know. All I know is they were out there to cause trouble. And they did. And agitators mixed in with the protesters who were camping out, which turned the whole damn bloody place into an insane asylum. And they're still trying to get them out of there, USC and UCLA. It disturbs me that I'm seeing democracy getting curtailed left and right. Can I show you a little bit of an example for something that probably would piss people off left and right? And trust me, this will piss people off left and right. What kind of political ramifications can you think about that one? And sorry, I got dry skin. I need to get cream for it. What kind of political implications can you think about that one? I can argue if I put this on a street corner or at a public facility that we actually do have here, like a library, sheriff station, fire station, street corner. I could probably get into a world of hurt on this one simply by saying this is a piece of paper. I could. Would the United States government, would a senator accuse me of being a communist for proposing such a thing? Might as well. Already got them saying that we're communists, but if we're protesting left and right, we're Americans. We're not supposed to protest. Um, can I ask you a little bit of a history thing, ma'am? Uh, what was the Revolutionary War about? What was the Declaration of Independence? What was the visits of Dr. Franklin, going across the seas to England about? Somewhere there's a P word. Protest. No taxation without representation, hence protesting. The Tea Party. A land of rebel rousers, we can't be rebel rousers. We can't be rebel rousers. We have to go against things that we don't believe in. We have to fight for the things we do believe in. We are called rebels. We are not called patriots. We're not called Tories. I'm surprised I'm not wearing a king's uniform or colors. I'm surprised that I would be allowed to wear a baseball jersey. This is my home team's baseball name that we got from Brooklyn. I'm surprised that I can actually have a conversation with you without anybody else interfering. Why? Why? Is it because we protested? Dost thou protest too much? And too, Brutus? What happens when you go into college, you happen to learn a few things left and right. I was fortunate at a few programs which I had in the state that allowed me to continue to take a few courses at a time to enjoy myself, to learn about things that I never gave myself the chance or opportunity a long time ago. And I was stupid, foolish, and tore myself apart over it. I didn't realize that political science would be on my mind half the time, and it gives me sick to my stomach. It gives me ulcers on that one. Not to mention about the books I've read throughout my lifetime. Different topics, different variations, different things that matter the most. And other things that may be considered of England that I would be reading about. of its own literal world that they have. Without the freedoms we have, would we actually enjoy such pleasures? Have such debates? Would we be trying to debate right now if we didn't have the Declaration? Actually, the Declaration of Independence, not to mention Magna Carta. Finally, the Articles of Confederation that should have been shredded, replaced by the Constitution of the United States. Yeah, I remember Shays Rebellion. That was a real fun party, wasn't it? Reading about it. A real fun party. States' rights versus a federal government. Right after a major war of freedom, and everybody gets to be thrown into a proverbial debtor's prison. Not because because the federal authority didn't have the teeth necessary in a constitution, they couldn't do a darn thing about it. Hence Shays Rebellion. Now we got the teeth, lasting for almost 240 something years, and we're getting defanged. We hadn't cleaned our teeth. We haven't taken care of our dental work. We're losing our bite. We are deteriorating right in front of everybody, including the whole world. We are ticked off and angry at each other because we're poked and prodded into doing so and saying so. We have to be fearful. We have to be paranoid. We have to be. Because those who want more and more power are sucking it out of our marrows, our souls, our wills. Welcome to the Star Trek Collective. Are we there yet? Pretty much. Pretty much. You're probably asking me if I'm a lettered guru of any sort. I am no academia. I'm barely passing community college at my age right now. Give me about another semester or two, I'm maybe crawling out of there. But at least I'll be fulfilling a promise that I made to my mama and my big brother before they passed. Well, actually, Ma passed, and I never had made that promise to her. I disappointed her a great deal. But these things I wanted you to know, Miss Maddow. If not to drive an intern crazy. Or two. I am just a guy. Born, raised a liberal, wokeism. Tried to be open-minded about things, including about what conservatism is all about, at least what it used to be. Seeing how power corrupts absolutely. And now I'm a caregiver to a family member that still cries for my help right now. Hell, give me a second. She must be obeyed. Short distances I can walk. Long distances I need a cane. She must be obeyed. Say hi to the people. My dog, 20 years old. Sometimes with her dementia, she thinks she's still a puppy and she's growing older. Caregiver, have to take a semester off just to take care of her. You do things for family. But when you're a Trumplicant and you talk about power and glory and things for the Donald Trump and his mouth and his insanity, they just don't get it. They don't want to get it. They want to chase their head games around shadows and dust. They want to chase the illusions, the smoke and mirrors. They want to chase someone else's grand delusion. I held in front of you and in front of the camera. That is not a delusion. That's my reality check. Things that matter the most to me. Trump and his ilk can talk a talk. I walk. I've been a caregiver for my mother before she passed away, and I was secondary to my big brother. Then after that, I became his primary until he passed. Hadn't been a day that goes by that I hadn't thought about it and reacted to it a great deal. A hell of a lot of napkins and paper towels and tissues being used. And too many prayers sent up to God to forgive me for going this stuff. A lot of things I talk and watch and try to talk to other people about it. Do I know that we're having a civil war? Yes. We haven't fired shots directly at each other, only indirectly with innuendos, lies, and falsehoods left and right. But everyone else thinks it's the truth. I go by my guts. I go by what I see. And all I see is we're losing our heads all the damn time. I've seen how governments fall. I've read about them too. Democracy struggling and then they crash and burn because you got power. You got people wanting to chase their damn egos and their damn tails and want everybody else to follow them because they want their egos to be that exploding until they get exploded. Then it's a mess to clean up. Let's just hope that there'll be a miracle, not a bloody miracle, but just hopefully a miracle of grace on us because we're gonna need it. I don't know what's the future going to be like for us right now, Miss Maddow. But yeah, it's got me majorly concerned. Thank you for me. Let me rephrase that. I thank you for suffering me. One day, maybe, we'll talk. I talk to a lot of people on my channel. Diary of a Griever named John Weaver, which is me.